I want to tell a story of something that happened in my high school. It was one of the things that kind of motivated me to research more about online privacy issues. And it was the time when I was going to a boarding school. And so there was a dorm where all the kids lived. And we used to have one cards to access the building, both the academic building and our dorm. So every student had a card, and that's how we would get in. But eventually some students found out that there was an app that could open doors without the card, because obviously you can lose the card and it's a hassle to get a new one or like find it. So a lot of students are using that app to open doors. And eventually the house parents found out, and the administration found out, and so they brought us all together and just told us not to use the app. And they just said that they didn't really give any specific explanation. They just said like, we found that some students use the app, it's very dangerous, you shouldn't do that. But there was no like more detailed explanation why we shouldn't use it, even though like it was obvious like it's not good. But they didn't really provide us any examples of like why it is actually dangerous. And I think what they could have said is that this app that is probably owned by some company or like a group of people stored the location of students and like where the app was actually used, like which door was open. So basically they have this whole data set of people who downloaded the app, they have their information, they know where they live, and they know where they're opening doors. And for a boarding school, like a high school with a bunch of kids, for some group of people to know that there's this like school where you can get in just by using your app, and you know there's like a bunch of kids and it's literally in the middle of nowhere, it's not in the city, it's like outside, telling students that this kind of scenario is dangerous because a bunch of people, we don't know who stores this information, we don't know how they're storing it, how protected that is, and who has access to it and how it can be used. And that is kind of the critical aspect that we are not usually told, that should be discussed, because that's how we actually can understand that it is dangerous, and it is only in our interest to not use the app and just keep using the cards. But just like by punishing people or telling them not to do it because it's dangerous, it's not really helping, because there might be another situation later on in your life where you might find something a lot more easy and convenient to use instead of what you already provided. And if you don't ask yourself those questions, it's easy to fall into the trap of like convenience and actually then it becoming like pretty dangerous. So yeah, just like a little story, I hope it makes sense.